Welcome to the shop. In today's video, I'm going to do an updated tour of the shop. A lot has changed since the last tour, and who knows, maybe you might find it interesting to see where I work and what it's like to be here. So here goes! Well, it's been a while since I made my last shop tour video, and a lot has changed. The biggest change, of course, is the mini mill, but in order to make room for the mini mill, I had to make a bunch of other changes as well. The corner here, going to the glassworking shop, used to have a wall and a door, and I removed the wall and removed the door to make some more room. Then moved the Bridgeport to the other side of the shop and very carefully used some wood blocks and shims and a precision machinist level to level it up real nice. Of course, the star of the show is the mini mill. Magnificent machine, and yes, it barely fits. With a little bit of modification and a lot of careful planning, it was actually possible to get it through the garage door, into the shop, and everything fits, and it works really well. The tool cabinet here for the tools for the Bridgeport, I have all the tools that I frequently use, all the end mills, drills, taps, all lined up in a reasonable position so I don't have to keep opening drawers and fumbling through piles of drills and taps to find the one I need. Everything is more or less labeled. Pretty darn dirty. I think I'm going to rebuild those out of metal or something and make them so they're easier to clean. So I moved the chop saw, the metal cutting chop saw, over to a different position. And of course, since I cut long stock, it's important to have a long clear area to the left to get around here. Take that little roller guy there and move it over, and then I can cut long stock. Also got the air hose reel up here. In general, the new shop layout is much, much better than the old shop layout. Everything is easier to clean, it's more well organized. It's really important for me in this new shop layout to keep everything clean. I think a clean shop not only looks nicer, but it's certainly a lot more pleasant to work in, easier to find things. Got a new Harbor Freight toolbox, and then I made a rack for the Cat 40 tool holders for the mini mill, and this works really, really well. And you see over here, and get the camera to focus. I used my CNC wood router to route conical tapered holes in the 1-inch finished birch to make a nice holder. And around here I got my old sander. I've ordered a new sander, and the new one's going to be coming pretty soon. Always nice to have workspace. This is where the finished parts go after they've been machined. Got some storage rack pretty much where it was before. The shop started its life as a woodworking shop, and then later on turned into a machine shop as I shifted my focus from wood to glass and metal. So there's been a lot of reorganization along the way. The dust collection system was originally a lot more elaborate and interconnected, and now very few machines are on the dust collector. This area here doubles as a garage because it's nice to be able to put the car away. And it's also nice to have a floor space available when the car isn't in the space. I've got You can see over here, got wheels with air cylinders on this workbench, so the workbench can be rolled into the middle of the area when I need the full area for working on large projects. Table saw is still, even though I'm not doing that much woodworking anymore, the table saw is still very, very useful. With a proper aluminum cutting blade, it cuts aluminum really well. I moved the wood chop saw and the drum sander over to the other side of the shop, and this keeps, at least it's a half-ass attempt at keeping the dust away from the machine side of the shop, and it kind of works a little bit. Got plenty of access on the back of the mini mill in case I ever need to get at the electric panel. All the controller and the electronics and everything are in the back behind that panel. And I got disc sander, belt sander with a vacuum. And over on the other side is the glassworking shop. And if I had more floor space, I probably wouldn't do it this way, but it's also a bit of history. This room before I took up glassworking was primarily used for the CNC wood router, and then I decided to take up the activity of glasswork, and now I've got my glassworking shop in the same room as the wood router, which means every time I run the wood router I get dust all over everything, which is really annoying. So got the storage for the color rods. I saved my shorts. Got some more glass stock. Got some oxygen cylinders. Got the Inquala on my new custom-made workbench, which I like to keep very clean. Got the hand torches on stands. Got my glassworking tools all on a rack over to the side of the bench. Try to keep everything clean. Of course, there's the squeezer and all of the various different squeezing dies. And yes, there are a lot of them in the squeezer project, and I continue to come up with new ideas for new dies and new shapes as the project proceeds. Got the kiln right there. Got access all around the Bridgeport, which definitely makes it easier to clean up. Got the metal cutting chop saw on a turntable base, so the material being cut always goes parallel to the door, and the saw, let me actually rotate that, the saw can rotate around to do angle cuts. So I really like the Scotch-Brite deburring wheels. Makes a really nice finish. Got the TIG welder, welding table, plasma cutter, lots of battery-powered tools, and pegboards, organizing things. Got the shop sink over there that looks about like you would expect for a shop sink in a machine shop. When the house was on the market, the real estate agent called this a dog wash station, but hey, I've got a better idea. So, cleaning supplies, nice big toolbox. Then over into the office, this is the cleaner area, and got Inqualas ready to ship to customers. And got the electronic bench with work in progress. I'm building a run of 20 Inqualas, and little bit by little bit I do all the work myself, and it's a lot of work to get them all done. And over here is the assembly bench where I've got all the various tools and fasteners, and then there's another one in progress. The parts are on that rack over there. All the parts ready to be assembled. And got a bunch of stuff in those IKEA storage units. Then moving over into the back room here. This is the warehouse, the metal lathe room, more warehouse, more warehouse, more warehouse. If I was designing this place from scratch, I probably wouldn't have designed it this way. With all these small rooms, I probably would have just done it all with one big room. But hey, this is the way the place came, and I am finding it useful to do it this way. Some of the rarely used woodworking machines are kind of like stacked in the corner there. I may or may not keep them. I might offer them for sale, but who knows, someday might come in handy to have the woodworking machines. And got stuff for the metal lathe. Fairly nice metal lathe. I did put that on blocks as well because I'm tall and I don't like bending over machinery. And I like to keep things organized whenever possible. Just makes it faster and easier and more pleasant to work if everything is organized. Got a nice big computer monitor. I don't know how some people live their digital life on a mobile phone with a tiny screen, and for me, I like a 32-inch 4K monitor with a mouse and a keyboard. And of course, Instagram hates me because I use a desktop computer, and so, well, I guess I'm not going to be using Instagram very much. So, moving outside here, around the back, the backup generator, and aluminum and steel storage. Here's a El Cheapo Harbor Freight vibratory polisher, which after having done several thousand parts, it's still working. So, it's actually a decent unit. Then here's my lap wheel and all of the various different diamond discs. The lap wheel is a prototype, and I'm working on various different indexing heads, work holding fixtures, trying to make cold work a little more precise. Eventually I want to try doing CNC cold work, but for the moment things like indexing heads and shafts and guides tend to make the work a little more precise and work a little easier. I built a kind of an isolated, sound isolated compartment back there for the air compressor. And he's got a bunch of stuff stored out here. Here's my prototype wet saw, which also has a sliding base with lots of holes in it for various different fixturing. I'm still in the process of coming up with ideas, but the final goal is going to be to have precision work holding fixtures that mount to the base so that I can make very, very precise cuts, almost like a faceting machine, but not quite, a little bit different. Here's some more parts for the lap wheel. That's a vacuum chuck with a drive motor on it for grinding the face of large diameter marine pieces. Then just general purpose junk storage. And that pretty much does it. The shop continues to evolve. It continues to get more and more useful. And I continue to enjoy every minute. It's great to have a shop. It's great to have tools. And get some storage units up there. One last look at the Bridgeport. It's really, really nice to have a two-axis machine. Well, the Bridgeport is a full manual, three-axis manual machine, but it's also a two-axis CNC. And for some things, for one-offs, for real quick stuff, for jigs and fixtures and stuff, it's so much faster to make them on the Bridgeport than it is to create a tool path, figure out how to fixture it, and make it on the mini mill. So that pretty much is the end of today's tour, and hope you found it a little bit interesting. In case anybody is interested, at one time I was fairly seriously involved in music recording and my record company, Loud Round Records, and some of the CDs that I made back in the day when CDs were a thing, and then photographs of my old studios, various different studios along the way. So that pretty much does it. Thanks for watching.